Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new live stream. I hope all is well if it comes to basketball, or even if it's not basketball, because at the end of the day, yes, we love the game of basketball, but there's much more than that going on in the world. But I hope you guys are safe. I hope you guys are doing well, and all of you guys are healthy. So, obviously, huge news in the NBA world, specifically the New York Knicks world and the Cleveland Cavaliers world. That surprise, little curveball here, and I couldn't believe it when I went on to check my Twitter, or originally my boy Anthony actually texted me. So shout out to my boy Anthony, big time Sixers fan, big time 49ers fan. Shout out to him. If it wasn't for him, maybe I wouldn't have known about this, or maybe I wouldn't have been able to upload that video so early. He texted me. What did he initially text me? It was something about Donovan Mitchell, but I was like, wait, what? Like, because I saw my friend's text before I even saw the notification that Donovan Mitchell has been traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And my initial thoughts were, remember there was a report that came out by Ian Begley. Remember that report that came out, what was it, a week ago, a few days ago? Like the Cavs, yeah, they were talking with the Utah Jazz, but then a report came out that nope, the Cavs are out. So all the all the stars were aligning, or it looked like Donovan Mitchell was going to be a New York Knick. But nope, it turns out that they're still talking, and Danny Ainge likes the deal that the Cleveland Cavaliers offered them, as Utah is trading Donovan Mitchell to Cleveland for Lauri Markkanen, Ochai Agbaji. They didn't spell his name right. He's from Kansas. He's going to be a rookie. I think he's going to be a solid 3-and-D player. Colin Sexton, 3 unprotected first-round picks, and 2 pick swaps. So before I officially get into this, I want to say what's up to the chat. I saw buzzer beaters in here. Silvery Gray is in chat. Make sure I read everyone's comment before I give you guys my thoughts. You already know. But yeah, honestly, I did find out that it was their birthday. I didn't like shout out to Jalen Brunson, shout out to Cam Reddish. Happy birthday to them. I saw, or I know it was Brunson's birthday yesterday, I believe, and then Cam Reddish's today. But yeah, then Mark Berman had to come out with that BS and all that. But yeah, happy birthday to them. But I've been working lately, so I haven't really seen that as much. But Buzzer Beater says, fun fact, if you use Google Calendar, you could upload the entire Knicks schedule to your device's calendar by going to NBA.com and selecting the team, then schedule. I did not know that. Good, glad New York did not overpay. There was a market for Randall and Fournier. Got some first rounders. So what's up to everyone in the chat? Avery's in here. Chris is in here. Spectaz is in here. What's going on? Zev. So when I break down this trade, again, everyone's gonna have their own opinions when it's comes to this trade. Utah Jazz traded away Rudy Gobert. You know, they got 5 first round draft picks back, and they're like, you know what, we're going to try to get that same capital back, or maybe even more than that, because maybe they value Donovan Mitchell more than Rudy Gobert, especially on the offense side of the basketball. Multiple time All Stars, a key reason they've gone to the playoffs, of course. And they trade Donovan Mitchell, they blow it up officially. And when I look at the trade, Lauri Markkanen, solid piece. I like that 3 big man lineup that the Cavs ran last year. Lauri Markkanen at the 3, Mobley at the 4, Jarrett Allen at the 5. So I think Lauri Markkanen could be a very solid piece for the Utah Jazz. I don't know if he'll be a starter there long term, but I thought he was a nice piece for the Utah Jazz. Ochai Agbaji, rookie out of Kansas, unproven rookie. Can't really speak much on him. I think he's going to be a solid player in the NBA. Colin Sexton, didn't think he was going to be there long term anyway. Yes, we could talk about the extension, the money, and all that, but Colin Sexton wasn't like, I didn't personally see him there when it came to like them competing in the future or anything like that. I think Colin Sexton's a good offensive player. He's not consistently engaged defensively, not the best playmaker. So I kind of saw him on the way out anyway for the Cleveland Cavaliers in the future. So personnel wise, I don't think they really gave up that much. I guess the concern here is with the draft picks. And yeah, maybe you are scared away by giving up Ochai Agbaji, because 3-and-D players are really valued in today's NBA. Same like Lauri Markkanen can shoot the 3 ball. He brings you tons of size, and you need depth if you want to be a contender. But looking at 3 unprotected first round draft picks, you know, like I had a feeling that was going to happen. What range will those picks be in? I think they're going to be later, because if you take a look at this Cleveland Cavaliers roster, we knew they weren't going to give up Mobley. You know, Mobley is one of the most valued young players in the league. You have Garland over there. You have Jared Allen over there. You have LeVert coming off your bench. You have Kevin Love coming off your bench. You still have Cedi Osman. You still have Ricky Rubio, I believe, on that roster. Maybe Okoro's going to go on to start. So their like starting five's amazing. I'll say this. When it came to being in the position to trade for Donovan Mitchell, I like the position the Cavs were in better to trade for a Donovan Mitchell because they're going to be a top five seed. I'm not saying they're going to compete for a championship, but I think they're going to be much better, and they are going to be a contender. Again, I don't know what for. I'm not saying like some people think they're going to be better than Philly, but we have to see it out there on the floor. There could be concerns in the backcourt defensively, size, but then at the same time, you're like Evan Mobley on a rookie contract. We don't even know what his ceiling is. He can guard the perimeter, and that could take away some deficiencies when it comes to the defense. So these picks, maybe they're valued very high, or maybe they end up being really late. Maybe like I don't think these picks are going to be that early. Yes, you could still use them in trade packages, and then two pick swaps. Obviously, that helps out the Utah Jazz right there. But I honestly don't think like I think the Jazz did solid, and I thought the Cavs did good as well. Honestly, I think it's a win-win on both sides because the Cavs they're in the position to make this move. Like you're in the position to make this move. When you have when you have a guy like Mobley on his rookie contract that was so good as a rookie, like this is the right move to make here, Jared Allen. So I personally like the move by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and you add alongside Donovan Mitchell, who's one hell of a scorer of the basketball as well. But again, maybe those picks aren't valued that much, and like he ends up requesting out or something like that. Maybe he's not happy in Cleveland, but I feel like he's someone that's really addicted to the game of basketball, and he just cares about the results on the floor. I'm okay, you're okay, we are okay. It's a win-win trade. Not mad, relief we didn't give up the farm. I like Spida, but not at losing all our young talent. Cavs gone better, and the Jazz are setting. Yeah, they're entering the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes probably. Um, I like what the Cavs are doing. Cavs are trying to win now. And then let's get into another thing here. I apologize, my quality's not the best. I kind of last second decided to do this live stream. I'm going to be having a camera coming in the future, and I'm going to be having a microphone coming in the future. I usually film on my phone anyway. But let's get into the Knicks side of things. Like you guys are here for the Knicks, obviously. And when you take a look at this, so a tweet came out by Evan Sadri. You know, so you take a look at this tweet. The Jazz's final counter offer to the Knicks to land Donovan Mitchell was RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, 3 unprotected picks, multiple pick swaps, plus potentially another young player. New York declined, so Utah accepted the Cavs' offer. And I would decline too. If as soon as I see RJ there, you should not trade away RJ Barrett. It just shouldn't happen because if you get Mitchell, you think Mitchell, Brunson, and Randall are going to win something together unless you get another player to pair with them. And then on top of that, they want Quickly, they want 3 unprotected picks. Like I'm not doing that at all because I just think we would completely be stuck in mediocrity. I don't even think we get out of the first round, honestly, with Mitchell, Randall, and Jalen Brunson. Like I think he would be stuck in the same situation personally. But the question I ask you guys is what's plan B? What's plan B with the New York Knicks striking out on Donovan Mitchell? I'm trying to go all in when it comes to the youth movement. Personally, I'm trying to ride with the young guys because I don't know, it'd be kind of a wasted year that we like if we get Mitchell, totally different story. You play Randall because he's more experienced than Obi. I just want to see Obi play in that situation, not because I don't think it's going to be good, but because of because of an experience factor that he'll still be going through his ups and downs. Randall does as well, but I just don't think that would end up happening personally. But now that Mitchell's not going to be here, I feel like you have to choose a direction. And what will your direction be? Like, yeah, you're still going to try to win basketball games. I'm not saying the tank or anything like that. But when I saw a report come out that Grimes was potentially the last piece in that deal that would have done it, again, I wouldn't have done it because RJ Barrett was in the deal. I wouldn't have traded RJ Barrett. So I'm glad the Jazz declined. So if you value Grimes that much, because this came out, let me share my screen real quick. This came out by Woj. New York balked on including Quentin Grimes into a trade with RJ to acquire Donovan Mitchell. And he was one of the deciding factors this trade did not go down. I like Quentin Grimes. He still has a lot to prove. Didn't play consistently last year, with he averaged 5 to 6 points. Good defensive player, good 3-point shooter. And we liked what we saw in the summer league with glimpses and flashes of playmaking. But how is it going to be at the true NBA, like true upper echelon type of level? Like it's still the NBA, you know what I mean? But I want to see it in a totally different role because he consistently had the ball in his hands. He's not going to be a number one option with the Knicks when it comes to the actual season. So if you value Grimes that much, Grimes better be starting. Grimes better start. I know the concerns, the size, and all that. Brunson 6'1", Grimes is listed as 6'4", even though you could round him up to 6'5". If RJ that's 6'6", I don't mind the front court size though. Randall 6'10", Mitch 7 foot is fine in my opinion though. But you better start Grimes. You can't have a season that you get nothing out of it. That's why I mentioned quickly in my video, even though it was kind of emotional in my video. By the way, I didn't rage or anything like that, but it was just like, okay, you don't get Mitchell, pick a direction. I like Leon Rose dipped his toe into like development, like with the young guys, but never really dove all the way in, if you know what I mean. He needs to fully dive into a situation. We can't be stuck in the middle of nowhere. I think that's a terrible position to be in personally. What's going on, Drew? I hope all is well. Too busy being chilling after that Mitchell trade. I hope all is well even outside of that. What's going on, Reggie? How you doing, Reggie? I wish he was on the Mavs, but hey, don't have assets, and I feel like it did not happen. Yeah, and then we like the poison pill as well. Like, remember we extended RJ, so it was like, yup, we're all out, and then the reports like it's still possible, but there's just a slimmer chance of it happening. But again, it's just crazy because there was the reports that the Cavs were out on Mitchell. Remember? And then all in again. I wish he was on the Mavs, but hey, don't have assets, and I feel like it did not happen because they tampered for Jalen Brunson. Don't deny it now. Develop your play. I agree. Do it. Just build a longevity, consistent winner. But I'll say this: as much as we like Grimes, as much as maybe you like Mitch, as much as maybe you like Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickly, it's still a star league. We're going to need a player to pop off this year. That's why I quickly mentioned in my video. Yes, Tom Thibodeau does eventually play the young guys. But there's a difference between playing the young guys and playing them throughout their strengths. We need a coach that plays the young guys throughout their strengths. Hopefully, Tibbs makes that adjustment. I know he's been known as being the stubborn coach that doesn't make adjustments. I appreciate what he does from a culture standpoint. We'll see what goes on. See what goes on to happen. It is insane to trade RJ and Grimes plus picks. I agree 100% with you. I agree with you. And let me know in the chat, like, do you agree with me that, like, you look at it from a Cavs perspective? Let's put being a Knicks fan aside. I think the Cavs are in a better position to trade for Donovan Mitchell. You have, again, there's could be some depth concerns, but you have Mobley. You don't even know what he's going to be yet. He was a beast. He was like generational as a rookie defensively his first year. His offensive games are going to get better. You have these twin towers. You have Jared Allen as well. So, and Mobley can guard the perimeter. He's just that unique on the defense side of the basketball that it could take pressure off of the small type of backcourt. You have Mitchell scoring. You have Garland's feel. You have his shooting ability. Maybe the three's kind of a question mark with Okoro. But I like Kevin Love off the bench. Cedi Osman, we'll see if he stays healthy. Ricky Rubio. People forget Karis LeVert's still on this roster. I like LeVert. I like their coach. JB Bickerstaff. I don't know. They're going to be fun to watch. We'll see if it results in wins, but they're definitely going to be better. Definitely going to be better. Because they lost in the play to Brooklyn last year. Yeah, I agree. You need chemistry as well. That's why some people are saying, like, I will say this, though. I did mention how the picks are going to be low. It may not be valued that much, but you never know what's going to go on happen. What if Donovan Mitchell becomes unhappy once out? Those picks, the value goes way up, But I think Mitchell's is just a pure basketball guy. I don't think he cares about that extra shit that goes with it, So if they're winning games, Mitchell's going to be happy, in my opinion. and I think they will be winning games. Cavs have a window now for 2 years to win a title. If they don't, Mitchell is gone. You think he's gone? Because I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say Mitchell's gonna be gone after 2 years. Like, we could say, yeah, Mitchell wanted to be a Knick, Mitchell wanted to be a Knick. Like, he's a Mets fan, he's from New York. We've been there before. I know you could say this is a different situation, but I'm just not gonna believe it. I don't know Mitchell personally, I don't know what he wants. I'm not trying to be that guy, but, like, we don't know. We really don't know. But I agree, Jabroni. I thought we dodged a bullet. I think it's good for the Cavs. I don't think it's good for us, personally. I'm not saying that Mitchell wouldn't have been good for us. He's a freaking star. But for what we would have had to give up and, like, where our team is at now, no. I understand. Yup, I read that report. Yeah, talked about that. The Jazz's final counteroffer to the Knicks to lane Donovan Mitchell was RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, 3 unprotected picks, multiple pick swaps, plus potentially another young player, and New York declined. And I like that we declined. Yo, my man, Brilliance. Yo, Brilliance, we gotta do a collab, man. This my man right here. Shout out to Brilliance. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. I really, really do appreciate that. I know we are disappointed, but I'm proud of the front office. It feels like draft day. But I think Leon has plan B, C, and D. Our youth will step up. I hope so, man. I hope so. I think there's other ways of building your team. I know maybe this will take a little bit longer. And like I like our young pieces. We have to hope one pops off. And I'm not gonna give you guys this whole spill that, oh, there's another opportunity to get a star in the future because we've been there a million times. But let's just hope. I don't think it's Tibbs. If it's Johnny Bryan in the future, whoever it is, hopefully we get the right coach to mold these young guys into successful NBA players, not just off the bench, or not just like playing them in general, playing them throughout their strengths and make them very valuable. But thank you so much, Brilliance. And I wanted to bring up also though, guys, there one thing that also went through my head when this went on to happen was draft night. We traded for all these draft picks. I was like, oh, they have a plan. They want Donovan Mitchell. Obviously, we knew they wanted to free up cap space for Jalen Brunson. But I mentioned in my video when we traded away Usman Jang and all that. I know some people laughed at me, Usman Jang, whatever. But I wanted a high upside player. I was like, let's take a risk. You know? Let's pick a direction to go with the young core. Those picks mean nothing if you don't utilize them. They mean nothing if you don't use them. And I don't think those protected picks were valued because you notice the picks the Jazz wanted are picks, unprotected picks. So I think draft night, yes, we moved on from Kemba, helped free up cap space. We moved on from Burks and Noel after draft night. Was draft night a waste? I'm trying to think of it. Because it means not if you don't utilize those draft picks in the future, what the hell do they mean? Like at some point, I know you're like, yeah, but they asked for too many draft picks, but they didn't ask for those draft picks, the ones we acquired. Or at least that's the way I'm thinking. I'm not freaking behind the scenes or anything. But if you haven't already smashed the like button, I appreciate you guys being here. Like, I like that we have young players, but I just hope we utilize them right. That's the only frustrating thing right now. That's the frustrating thing. Like, I want to know what Obi is. We've seen games from Obi of what he could be, but we need to know what he is. I'm trying to trade Randall for anything right now. In my opinion, pick a direction, play the young guys. That's what I'm doing. Pick a direction. Run the offense through RJ for a year. I don't think we're making the playoffs this year anyway. Maybe we make the play-in. But yeah, let me know in the chat, what direction do you want the Knicks to pick? Do you want to play it out this year with Randall? Like, obviously, you're going to try to want to win anyway. But, like, are you done with Leon if we don't make the playoffs this year? Or you're like, no, let's trade Randall. Let's have a developmental year. Let's play the young guys. Trade Randall for a quarter of water. If we drafted someone, would they have gotten time though? That's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah, the Ivy thing, just like it's just so crazy. Like, I'm not trying to be negative here, but it's just like media, B reporters, they just like Ian Begley. I love Ian Begley. Rare L though. This is a rare L by Ian Begley. Him saying the Cavs like are out. They're not talking to the Knicks no more. Where's he going? The Cavs. That's wild. Full youth development. I hate the whole try to win while developing. Yeah, because then you're stuck in the middle of the pack. I've always had a feeling that Rose got some master plan. We'll see what it is. What do you think it is? I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to know. All right, let me know in the chat what young player are you the highest on. I'm not gonna lie. I'll say this: I like our young pieces. I'm not in love with them because I'm not gonna lie. I love us Knicks fans. We're passionate about our team. We may have different opinions, but we want what's best for this team at the end of the day. I do think we overrate our young players, but who are you the highest on? Who are you the highest on? And again, Grimes better start. Grimes better start. I'm expecting 40 to start, but Grimes better start. What's going on, Canal? Hope all is well. Go Young, win or lose. Trade Randall, Rose, Fournier. I'm right there with you. Right there with you. I'm not saying the tank. Let these young guys go through experiences. Mitchell Robinson, okay. We are still in good condition. We could do bug things in the draft and or the bro. You're you probably just made the chat go nuts. See, I'm all about building through the draft, but like, guys, I want to know what Leon's plan is after the season in the draft because we just saw what he did the last. All right, so first year with us, we got Obi Toppin. We did the maneuvering to get quickly, but then the draft after that, we kept trading back, trading back. We got Grimes, which I like. McBride, I'm not as high on as others. I think he's a good defensive player, really raw offensively. So there was a lot of trading backs. And then this past draft, a bunch of trading backs. So I really wonder what his direction's going to be with this draft coming up because I'm not going to lie to you guys because not this upcoming season, the season after, I want Tibbs gone because I just don't see Tibbs making adjustments. Not this upcoming season, the year after is when we better be fucking playing Obi, starting him, playing these young guys, and we better just fucking make a common sense move on draft. Like, if I see us trade for a bunch of picks again, I'm not gonna lie, that'll piss me off. That'll piss me off. Like, maybe people were saying like this wasn't the trade to trade those picks. But like, when will it be? Like, I feel like we're always saying, "Oh, there's another star." Yeah, there's another star that presents themselves, and then we don't get them. Like, again, I'm saying Donovan Mitchell is better for the Cavs to get. I'm not pissed we didn't get Mitchell. But at the end of the day, he is an all-star also. But I wasn't giving up RJ. I wasn't giving up Grimes. It's just frustrating personnel-wise. I don't think the Cavs gave up a lot. Abaji, unproven. He's going to be a rookie that's solid 3-and-D player. But Colin Sexton wasn't going to be there. Like, he wouldn't have been there for the next 5 years, in my opinion. I like Markkanen. But Danny Ainge fucking hates us. He wanted fucking Grimes, Arch. Like, that's crazy, y'all. That's crazy. I agree, Fred. What's going on, man? What's going on, Fred Lee? I respect the Knicks front office more now. I'll respect them. I respect Leon for not giving up so freaking much for Mitchell, even though some people are like, Mitchell's so good, you give up a lot for. I always say this Mitchell's a superstar talent, doesn't have a superstar IQ. He's not someone that's going to bring you to the promised land. Will he improve your team? Hell yeah. But he's not a Luka. He's not someone that's going to do what Luka did last year and freaking carry his team to the Western Conference Finals. He's still damn good, though. I'm not hating. The Cavs got one hell of a player, though. Good points. Yeah, everyone's making great points in the chat. You know what's crazy to me? I think Shea's value may be more. I know Mitchell might have proven more in the league, but Shea's younger. I think that I think that's possible. But I'm interested to see what the Thunder are gonna be like. I know my man Crom's in here is like the Thunder are gonna be good in a couple years. Trust me, trust me. At some point, Shea's gonna be frustrated as hell, in my opinion. Unless he's a really loyal guy. I agree. Cam Reddish does need to play. And this like there's some negatives in Cam's game, like his motor. He's one of the worst mid-range shooters in the league, but he brings us a different element of size, athleticism. He shot the three ball I believe before when he was on the Hawks and then came over. I forgot what year it was, but he didn't shoot it well with the Knicks. He's a good free throw shooter, though, shows touch. But the best case scenario, Cam Reddish balls out in training camp, shows he's in great shape to Tibbs. Tibbs is still going to want to see it in actual games. But the best case scenario is Reddish develops, he becomes a starter because that'll help our starting lineup so much. It'll bring us size, it'll bring us athleticism, it'll bring us shot creation. But that's a dream scenario, in my opinion. That's what I want right there. That's what I want. I said this. I only saw Melo coming here if we got Mitchell. The reason why is because I thought our bench was going to be depleted or our depth wouldn't have been that good, and then we would have had to add Melo, personally. But I want to be like, what's Melo though? 38 right now. He can still get buckets. It's it's just like how much will you value him? Yo, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I really think the whole season comes down to Tibbs. And yeah, you could say Tibbs because he's the one that puts these players in the position to succeed or fail, but kinda not because you know his offense is extremely plain, not much movement. It's a huge RJ year. I'll say that. I like RJ got his contract. Don't care. He's still gotta be fantastic this year. I was talking about from three. I'm sorry if I just said field goal. I'm not like he shot 40% from three, but 1 year he shot like 36, 37. I forgot what it was. Yo, was that real? Damn, I thought you were shit. I thought this man just called Randall to Charlotte. Damn. I was about to be so happy. Trade Fournier Rose to Lakers for one pick. They need depth though. The Lakers roster is not great, so I'm not gonna say I could see us trading Rose, but Lakers I could see them being interested. Um, but we have to hope RJ balls out. Like now that we're again, I'm not saying it's like it was Mitchell. Maybe it was Mitchell or bust to some people, but in general, we need RJ to be a star, especially the way this team is set up right now. Randall was a star 1 year. He's not a star right now. Mitchell, I don't see him becoming a star. I could see him becoming he's already a valuable piece, I should say. Brunson, we'll see. I think he could be maybe a one-time All-Star or something like that. But RJ needs to become a star. Like he needs to be. Or we're just going to be, you could say even if we just had one All-Star, though, we'd still be stuck in the middle of the pack. But at the end of the day, you need to become an All-Star. I think plan is to add young players until we get one superstar or trade up high in the draft. We need to make a splash move like in the draft. Like this is the thing. So many people are like, no, we don't need to trade up in the draft. We have young pieces. There's no one on. I'm sorry. I like Grimes. I like Obi. I like Quickly. We need pop potential. It like that. It factor type of talent. We don't have that. Like RJ, I think could be that, but we need more of that it factor talent. Like we do still need a splash move. Yeah, he would be really expensive, dude. Really expensive. I try to read every single comment, so sorry if I'm like going back. Um, oh good, Jay. We have our own opinions, and I wish I was able to release that RJ shirt, man. But they considered it copyright, I guess. Let me upload it on my website for like 2 seconds. All right, here we go. Let me read this. Jabroni, I love that name. We aren't in a position to make a big trade like the Cavs. We need another season to see what we actually have in the youth. Tibbs will play them this year. I hope. I think he's gonna play him again, but I think he's gonna play him, but again, play him throughout their strengths. Like I don't want to see someone restricted in a box. I don't want to see Obi finally play his game like at the end of the season, you know? Like Obi was restricted in a box at the beginning of the season, then he finally gets taken out of the box, you know? I agree, especially with the way our roster's set up. Like the Cavs, I don't care what anyone says. That's going to be a damn good team. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see how it works out long term with depth and all that. But you have Darius Garland, who's named an All Star, only going to get better. He's young as shit. You have Donovan Mitchell, who can score the heck out of basketball, dog mentality. I guess like there's going to be some maturity of sharing the ball with Garland. Garland can play make. I'm not saying he can't, but he's still a young player. Okoro, we'll see if he starts. He just can't space the floor. He can't hit threes. That's what hurt them in the play-in as well. He could defend though. Mobley, defensive Swiss Army knife, guard multiple positions, 3-point shots developing. He's a beast. You have Jared Allen, LeVert off the bench. You have Love. You have Rubio, Osman if he stays healthy. But I agree with you, man. I'll say this though: the Cavs, again. You could have your own opinion of rebuilding a team. Not saying they're going to win a championship, but for where they were a couple years ago or a few years ago, they were really bad. Props to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I thought like they did a good job drafting. Even if you could say they were simple picks, you got to give them credit. Yeah, I agree, man. All right, let me catch up with all I try to read every comment. Like I appreciate all you guys. Cleveland was the number one seed. I can't read. Cleveland was the number one seed in the East before Allen got injured. With Mitchell, the Cavs will be even better. I don't know if they would have sustained that, but yeah, they were damn good before he got hurt because then they had to rely upon Mobley's a great defensive player or was a very good defensive player, but there's still an experience factor, and he's just not as strong as Allen. And Mobley's feel for the game too. He could pass the rock. What's going on, YB Jelly? I hope all is well, bro. How you feeling? If you haven't already smashed the like button, thank you so much for tuning in. In like 5 minutes, I might, if you guys want, I could drop the link. Maybe some of you guys, or Brilliance, would you like to call in? We could talk about this if you'd like. If you want to join, unless you're doing something, it's all good. It'd be cool to talk about this. I want to hear someone else's perspective. I haven't really talked to anyone really about this, except my boy MH and my boy Graham or Avery. A lot of people actually. Oh, Cavs about to be a problem. Cleveland finally built it from the ground up. I don't think so. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the best when it comes to contracts and all that buzzer beater and all the analytical stuff when it comes to basketball. I'm not gonna lie. Some of these rules confuse me in the NBA. It really comes down to player development. That's coaching, coaching, coaching. RJ needs to play good. I hope Brunson plays good as well. Yeah, I would like to keep Rose. Even if you are rebuilding, I think Rose is still a nice piece to have. You still need some type of veteran. You can't just have a bunch of young guys together. Let's see what else. Do you think any contenders are going to trade to wait, what? Do you think any contenders are going to trade to compete? Oh, going to try to make a splash move? I don't think there's anyone out there right now. It's all good, Brilliance. It's all good, bro. What's going on, Willie? How you feeling, Willie? How you feeling about this? I'm not gonna lie, I thought Donovan Mitchell was gonna be a Knick too, especially when Ian Begley reported that he won't like the Cavs are out. Well, they aren't out. He's a freaking Cleveland Cavalier. But if anyone does want to call in, be free. You could just click that link and I could talk. Like, I want to hear your thoughts. Obi and Grimes will be all-stars. Mark my words, Grimes will be the best player on this team. Wait, dang, you're higher on Grimes than RJ. Obi and Grimes will be all-stars. Mark my words. Grimes will be the best player on this team. Wait till he get. Sheesh, bro. I hope you're right though. Like I don't really care who's the best player on this team. We just need a really good. Like we need good players. We just need good players. Yo, what's going on, Graham? This is my boy Graham. Went to high school with him. Show love to my man Graham. How you doing, bro? Do you think Chet will be good when he returns from injury? Oh god, that's like so unlucky that in a pro-am game he went on to get hurt. And I made a whole video on that, like on my other channel. Like our team's gonna be scared away by Victor Wembanyama now from France because he's big man with injuries. And I'm not even talking about the most popular ones, but like Zach Collins as well. Him coming out of Gonzaga, he got hurt a lot. These guys just don't hold up, and they're gonna be like Porzingis is another example. He was good, got hurt. He's still pretty good, but he just hasn't been able to stay healthy. He doesn't move as well. He doesn't move as fluid. But they're literally good for like a few years, or some of them are good for like a few years. But it's like, how good are they gonna be? How long are they gonna stay healthy? Yao Ming was a beast, couldn't stay healthy. Ralph Sampson, who's good for a few years, got hurt. You know, there's that concern. Or Greg Oden right off the bat. Do the Rockets have potential? Are you a Rockets fan? Timo and Red, interesting name. Are you a Rockets fan, Red? But I do think the Rockets have potential. They're not really good right now, but they're young. I'll say this though: I don't believe in Kevin Porter Jr. being a point guard. I don't watch crazy amount of Rockets basketball, but that's just my opinion. I do like Alperen Şengün. I really like Jalen Green. Who else do I really like on the roster? Torrey Eason. I really like Torrey Eason. I'm not as high on Josh Christopher as others are. Um, Tyson Washington, I wasn't that high on him. I think he'll be a solid bench piece. Oh yeah, Jabari Smith. He gets so much hate because like other offense, like he's gonna need offense to be created for him. But I don't think anything's wrong with that. He's a really good defensive player. I think his shot will be fine. He struggled in the summer league, but we've seen the best players in the world struggle in the summer league. Kevin Durant shot like 40% in the summer league when he was a rookie. Trae Young had that terrible game. Um, Kevin Knox was freaking one of the best players in the summer league. See how he turned out. My man Graham says, "Bro's too big and skinny. He's gonna be an yeah. Yeah. I hate to say that because I feel like it's such a lazy answer, but he is really skinny. He's gonna have to put on some weight. Definitely a concern. Giannis is such a rare thing that happened though. Like Giannis was I don't know if he took PEDs or something, but I don't know what pre-workout he was taking. Giannis is just built different. I was too sheer. Is that how how I pronounce the name? I apologize if I pronounced it wrong. That's why I say brilliance. I don't like pronouncing people's names wrong. Shout out to you. I wonder how you found my channel. I made a video on Jabari Smith on my other channel, The Hoop Addict. Okay, I'm glad I said it right. KD is another rare one. I know KD's gotten hurt lately, but yeah, KD's a twig, bro. But he's not 7. Like he's 6'10". Maybe you could say he's 7 foot. Maybe that's nitpicking, but yeah, he's 6'10". So what do you guys what's the percent chance that Randall is traded before the season starts? I'll be real, it's like 10. I don't think he's gonna be traded. Maybe because he just really respects the Jazz organization, and maybe it's not like a really professional thing to do. Um, yeah, I don't think it's being traded either. That's what I'm saying. Like the report, yo, Graham though, the Jazz were on crack though. So let me put this up here. The Jazz wanted so fucking much when they were trading Donovan Mitchell. Let me share my screen. Make sure it's the right one. All right. So again, anyone wondering, the Jazz, let me click on this more. The Jazz's final offer to the Knicks to land Mitchell. Again, Laurie Markkinen, I respect him, solid player. Colin Sexton, I respect, but I didn't see him being there in the future anyway. Abaji, rookie. I know the draft picks as well, but the Jazz final counteroffer to the Knicks to land Donovan Mitchell was RJ Barrett. Hell no, right off the bat. They wanted quickly as well. They wanted 3 unprotected picks, multiple pick swaps, plus potentially another young player. They wanted Grimes. Like, what the bro? He just has something. He just has something against us, man. Because then if we get Mitchell, oh, we're gonna win. We're gonna win with fucking Mitchell, Randall, and Brunson. That's like, what is that? There's no upside with that. Yo, buzzer beater. That's a good point. Like, what are they gonna do with Jordan Clarkson? They got Mike Conley over there still. Poor Mike Conley's just over there. Like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, does Phoenix want Randall? Does Phoenix want Randall? Yeah, that's crazy, man. But yeah, they're gonna try to do what Sam Presti does. They're probably gonna trade Mike Conley for like draft picks or something. But like I mentioned this before, it's crazy that like even in another world that Mitchell wasn't traded on draft night and Gobert wasn't. Because if you guys didn't know, Mitchell was originally drafted by the Nuggets on draft night and then went on to be traded to the Jazz. Gobert drafted by the Nuggets on draft night, trade to the Jazz. So imagine if they stayed on the Nuggets, they would have been on the same team together. But then I don't think they wouldn't have got Jokic. Or what year did Jokic get drafted? I think Randall's a more talented Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is just such a waste of talent because he doesn't care. I think Randall's talented. He's just not smart. And I'm not trying to be rude. His basketball IQ is awful. Darius Allen, Mitchell, Mobley. Yeah. Is at least second round bound. Yeah. And like you don't even know what their ceiling is gonna be because Mobley's so young. It's only gonna be his second year in the league. Oh, yeah, at least Randall cares. Oh, let's see what else. Dylan Brooks went to the same high school as me. That's awesome, man. You ever meet him? Let's see, I try to catch up on all these comments. It's risky drafting a big man that high. Yeah, we drafted Porzingis. Um, oh wait. Oh, I wanted to get to this. This is Dre's. I don't know if Dre's still in here, but he's really high on Mobley. Oh yeah, Mobley got KD potential. He's been working on his jump shot and handles. He might be the top 5. I don't think he'll be KD. That would be freaking insane. But he's gonna be damn good. I think he's gonna be really good. Yeah, shout out to Buzzer Beater. I appreciate you buying a shirt. I apologize. Like this shit, like I was only able to have RJ on a shirt for like 2 days because like Teespring took it down. Great point. When you draft players, you got to develop them. You have to know what they are because this is the thing. Even if they're not what you think they're gonna be, other teams will be able to scout and see what they are. Like, oh, we could work with that. While the Jazz were like, oh, we didn't see that much of Grimes, so we're going to ask for more, you know? So the value's tough when they don't consistently play. Maybe in a few, I don't see them winning it next year, but they're going to be good. I'm right there with you. Knicks need to trade Randall. You need to have some type of goal next year. Get something out of next year. It'll be the same thing as last year if we do what we did last year. We play Obi like finally consistent minutes like last 10 games. Grimes. Well, Grimes we played like more minutes before Obi at one point consistently, but you could say because of injuries. But play the young guys next year, please. Please, please, please. Signing Randall in free agency stalled our development. It wasn't the right move. They should have let RJ do his thing rookie year. Yeah, RJ's been put in the weirdest situation. Well, he had Fizdale first off in a terrible system his rookie year. His second year, Randall decided to pop off and play like fucking LeBron James. So RJ had to be an off-ball player, and he's used to playing with the ball in his hands. And then the third year, yes, he needs to get better finishing at the basket, step back, creating off the bounce. But of course, there's going to be an uncomfortability, or his efficiency is going to dip when he's not used to having the ball. So yeah. Yo, my man, sheer brilliance.
Let's go. What's going on, man?
I hear you perfect. I hope all is well.
All is well, Knick fans. All is well.
So what's your thoughts on this? Well, you could shout out your YouTube first, your social medias if you would like.
Absolutely. Everybody, you guys can follow me on Sheer Brilliance, the Sheer Brilliance podcast on YouTube. Spelled just like the name on the screen. I actually just dropped a video venting on this as well.
There you go. There you go.
But man, I think you're spot on. Clutch, you always do great work, bro. And I feel your emotion on it. But I'm proud of the front office for this, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody talks about the Knicks being a poverty franchise.
Yes.
And they always talk about we're desperate to make a move. Now, I wanted Donovan Mitchell. I absolutely wanted him, but at the right price, Yeah. And we knew that we would have to overpay a little bit. So take that and keep that in mind. We knew we would have to give up something that we valued. We love our young players, but we knew we would have to overplay a little bit if we wanted them.
Yeah.
But I really think Danny Ainge was just like, I'm going to see how much I can push. Mm-hmm. And then he leveraged Cleveland. Cleveland is disrespectfully good in terms of their potential. You know what I mean? It's a great move for Cleveland. But man, when you think about New York, and the business world, New York was known as the people that would fleece people in deals. Shrewd negotiators, and we lost that reputation for like 25 years, man. So with Leon, it sucks that we didn't get Donovan, but I'm glad that he walked away. I think there'll be other opportunities there, but if nothing else, the message that we're sending to the NBA world is that we're going to make shrewd moves. We're going to move strategically. And that, man, we'll get this organization back step by step, but it's tough. I wanted Donovan too. I wanted that glitz and glamour, that pop. Yeah. The athleticism in our starting lineup would have been crazy. I'm tired of seeing those Julius Randle, Carmelo Anthony dunks where there's no flash on it, Yeah. But man, it's a tough day, bro. But I'm ready for the youth to be plugged in and to step up.
Yeah, that's just outrageous. Like, I wasn't giving up RJ at all, but then I see on top of it, like, Grimes was the deciding factor, and then all these draft picks, and then quickly, and then I upload my video. I'm a little emotional, so I decided to go live and talk about it some more. And I can't stand the lazy casual NBA fans saying like Dolan's the reason why we didn't get him. Like, Dolan exactly, that was my reaction. Like, Dolan has actually stayed out the way the last few years. Like, you can't blame him at all. But it's frustrating because like as much as I like our young players, we could talk about the fit and all that. Like some people are
Mhm.
like, I don't care about the fit. You trade for him and then figure it out later. We need a
Mhm.
star level player. But then reports came out like a few days ago that Ian Begley, because the Cavs were talking to them at some point, and it was like the Cavs are out. They're not talking to him anymore. It comes down to the New York Knicks. It's the Knicks trade to lose. And
Yep.
then I checked my phone, and my friend texted me, Donovan Mitchell to the Cavs. I didn't even get to hear it from Woj or anything like that. I thought he was just trolling, and then I check. I'm like, what? I was just laughing honestly because I would put on my community tab like, all right, I'm not making a video until Donovan Mitchell something happens, and of course a
Mhm.
day later something happens. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm just happy for it to be over. And so what's your plan B? Like, what do you think Leon Rose's plan B should be? Like, how much do you value these young players? I know everyone values them differently. I got people in my chat sometimes saying, like, someone literally said Grimes could be our best player on this team, or
Mhm.
some people
Mhm.
are like, he's just a 3-and-D player, like Danny Green or something like that. So what would your plan B be? And do you like these young players?
I like the young players not only because they're ours,
Yeah,
but you could see glimpses of talent, especially towards the end of last season. And I know people will say it was the end of last season, people weren't playing their starters. I think you have to remember that the teams that we did play towards the end of our season had something to play for.
mm,
So we were really trying to play spoiler. A lot of those teams were trying to get positioning into the playoffs.
yeah,
So that's one thing. Um, some of the young players that we have, we can see areas of their game that's limited. So I don't, Nick fans get this reputation as being delusional. We're very, very, we know who we have on our squad.
yeah,
These will be trade assets. But I think getting a point guard on this team is going to unlock the young players that we have in different ways. I think
yeah,
with Obi, now you have someone who can run with him, who can get him the ball in different positions. I think with Quick, he doesn't have to have that responsibility primarily of ball handling. So
yep,
he's going to get that ball in certain spots that work for him. And with RJ, I think I'm hoping that the floor is spaced out a little bit more so that they have an opportunity to work. And that Brunson, because he is a floor general, he has the leadership ability enough to tell Julius, this is not your run down the court. You know what I mean? Like,
yep,
let me get the ball to RJ, to know when to get the ball to these players. So I think that's going to unlock the young players. Obi, to be college player of the year,
yeah,
to see how effortlessly he scored towards the end of
yeah,
last season. You know, he's kind of a volume shooter, but once he gets into the flow and he knows he's not going to be pulled, bro, he was scoring easily.
yeah.
Like it was real easy for him. I am concerned about RJ though. I did a video like
Okay.
not really knowing what RJ was. He's a volume type of scorer, which
Mm,
is why we need to get rid of Julius. I think Julius is good, but Julius is if he's going to stunt the growth of an RJ or an Obi who could be like volume type of players. I just think the opportunity is going to reveal who these players are. I don't have an answer for you in
yeah,
terms of the young players. I just think when they get the opportunity and they get the space and they know they're not going to be pulled, we'll see what we have. And at that point in time, maybe we increase the value that'll lead to another trade,
hmm,
or we find out, listen, we don't need the trade. We have exactly what we're looking for on this team.
yeah. So yeah, it makes me think because someone brought up, I forgot who it was. Was it ESPN? I'm not sure, but it was like you either ride with RJ or you ride with Mitchell. So was there going to be a concern with you, RJ and Mitchell playing together? Because my opinion on RJ, we know he needs to get better shooting jump shots off the dribble. We know he can get to the basket, but he has
Mm-hmm.
to finish at the basket. So I'm not making any excuses for him there. But he's had a weird NBA career for a third overall pick. Most of the time, when you're a third overall pick, like you're the number one option right off the bat. But
Mm-hmm.
Randall was the one dominating the ball. You have David Fizdale, you have this weird system, and then Randall decides to be amazing his second year. So RJ has to play off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And my man CK2K always says, once we stop treating RJ Barrett like he's Bruce Bowen, he'll actually be something. So he plays off the ball. He's this catch and shoot guy. People were calling him like corner RJ. And then his third year, Randall's not as good, and Randall gets hurt at one point in the season, like towards the very end. RJ eventually does get the keys. We see his points go up. We see his efficiency go down though. But do you think, again, yeah, he needs to become more consistent of a shooter, add a mid-range shot. But do you think one of the main reasons he was inefficient is because he was learning to play with the ball in his hands again?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think
Yeah.
that's exactly it. I think a lot of the young players when they came onto the team, I think they were deferring to Julius,
Hmm.
and that's one of the biggest things. It's not that Julius is a terrible player. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
talked about. I agree with you in terms of in-game IQ.
Hmm.
You know, his spinning and sinning is off the charts.
Oh gosh.
Um, but I think honestly, I think that's what I think when he really began to struggle and RJ started to emerge after the All-Star game. I think RJ looked around and was just like, all right, I see, I don't know what you got going on with the fans, but your
Yeah.
head's not in the game. And I think you could see RJ at that point elevate his game like, listen, this is what I do. I was just kind of, waiting for you as the leader, but if you're not going to lead, then I'm gonna step in and do what it is that I do. And we started to see that next step RJ took. So I love that. I
Yeah.
also think with Cam, I didn't do a lot, but I did some research on
Yeah.
Cam over the summertime. And even going back to high school, a lot of his classmates, that class he was coming out of high school with was Anthony Edwards. And they
Mm.
got Anthony Edwards, on the AAU circuit
Yeah.
playing against him. And he was asking all of these players, like, listen, who gave you buckets? What player
Oh,
do
I
you
saw that
feel
video. I
you
see
saw
that.
that?
Yep.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he said Cam Reddish. He said, listen, if there's a player I don't want to play, it's Cam Reddish. And I'm a Duke fan,
Oh, okay.
so I'm a huge Dookie man, and I'm a huge Duke fan. So when they brought in that class with RJ, Cam, and Zion, um, RJ said he didn't know how it would work. And he said
Yeah.
Coach K told him, listen, I coach Team USA, I'll make it work. So he had a role to play. So I think Cam experienced a little bit of what RJ experienced when he came to New York, where
Mm.
there was a leader in place, so he deferred his game. So when you got Cam coming in with an RJ, who is the number one player in the country coming out of high school, and
Yep.
then you have Zion coming in, who's Zion,
Yeah.
then his personality, he was just like, all right, I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna play my position. Now he's in the league a few years and he's just like, give me playing time and let me show I could be a star.
Hmm.
But at this point, now you have a reputation attached to you that you don't want to step in and snatch the opportunity. You
Yeah.
rather sit back and let the ball and the game come to you. And now he's in this position where people don't know if he has a motor. People don't know if he has the dog in him. So it could be, and he's in every trade talk
Yeah.
conversation. One last thing I'll point out. Talking a lot, but with all of this trade discussion over the summer, in my video I talk about not knowing how these young players feel about it, hearing their names.
Hmm.
So if this is no more moves that are going to be made in the off season, then our front office and even the fans, man, we gotta, we gotta kind of get back behind these players
Yeah.
and let them know that we're rocking with you. Because if last season taught us nothing, the players watch social media, and if they don't feel that the fans are for them, you know what I mean, then we're going to see that product on the floor. And the one thing we can't have is for there to be a timid team at Madison Square Garden. You know, so when we behind them, man, we ride in for them. It's us against the world. It's New York versus everybody.
Yeah, man. Those are great points. Want to shout out a couple people in the chat. What's going on, TMGF? What's going on, Mitchell? How you doing, man? Make sure you subscribe to him as well. He's an underrated channel. He says, "What's up, Noah? Did it shock you?" It definitely shocked me. My friend texted me like right at when I got out of work. I was like, "What the heck are you talking about?" Because he trolls me a lot, you know. Because he's a Sixers fan. He's not a Knicks fan. He said,
Mm.
"I'll be doing a video tomorrow morning. I'll definitely check it out." So I want to know your thoughts because when it comes to the head coach. We know there's tons of mixed emotions when it comes to Tom Thibodeau. So what would you say your goal is this upcoming season? Because I always thought like, oh, we get Donovan Mitchell, Tibbs is staying because he's a seasoned head coach. He has tons of experience. I think that's not when you fire him. I think that's actually
Mhm.
when you hold on to him. But now it's like we don't have Mitchell. We have young guys. Tibbs eventually does play the young guys. But like how much valuable time will we get out of them? Like will they be played right? So I think Tibbs is going to be here this upcoming season, but what's your stance on Tibbs and how long do you think his leash is? And now that we're not getting Mitchell, do you want Tibbs gone soon?
I think you're asking the wrong person that question.
Okay, okay,
So if I'm a big Tibbs fan, and it's partly because I grew up in the '90s Knicks. He was on the staff, so there's affinity for that.
okay.
But I think a lot of times the New York Knicks are battling their demons. So all of the mistakes that we've made in the past, where we had a revolving door of coaches, there was really no loyalty of signing your own draft picks because we didn't do well in drafting.
Yeah.
We were letting teams fleece us, like um, getting Andrea Bargnani
Oh,
and Eddie Curry. You know what I mean? Like, so right now, we're battling a lot of those ghosts, a lot of those demons.
hmm
So I say that to say this, I've been saying since the beginning, let let Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau live out their contracts. You know, even if they have to be a lame duck coach or a lame duck administrator in that last year,
hmm
at least we can get rid of that and say, you know what, we've given people an opportunity to carry out the job.
Yeah.
This is New York, and there's already that pressure. We have the hottest seat in the league. So if we let them carry out that responsibility, at least they know, just like our players, we're not going to pull you after you make 2 or 3 mistakes.
Yeah.
We gave you. I forget the length of his contract. Is it 5 years?
That's 5 years, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've given you 5 years. The first 2 years is for you to determine who do you have on the team, who's going to buy into the coach's vision. Um, Third year has to be the move. I talked earlier in the season, last season, about, Leon, this is signature move season, and
hmm
I believe he made that signature move by getting a point guard that's competent, you
Yeah.
know. So getting that point guard that's competent will allow you to see what you really have on the team and what that chemistry looks like. But the next step after that is getting a star. And he made that effort to get the star this season. If he
hmm
would have secured Donovan Mitchell, then it absolutely would have been Tibbs. It's up to you now. I did the
Yeah.
shopping. I have the groceries. Cook this meal you're saying you know how to cook, you know?
Yeah.
But even more so, I also talked a little bit about everywhere Tibbs has gone, he's been able to help players take their games to another level. Now, it's arguable as to how he does it. The
Yeah.
way the way he does it is he gives them crazy minutes. And
hmm
I know that's something that Knick fans have a beef with Tibbs about. I'm a believer that that's how you create superstars. That's how you create players who make the all-star team because they play the minutes other players on other teams don't play.
Yeah.
So because we have a young team, we don't want the Derrick Rose situation to happen to any of these young players if they're showing that type of promise.
hmm
But that Derrick Rose situation wouldn't have happened if he didn't have all of those minutes. Youngest MVP in the league.
Yeah.
So I'm just interested to see, now that we got rid of some of those veterans, what can this young team become with, Tom Tibbs at the head of it, disciplining them, allowing them to get these minutes played. What can they be under
Yeah.
Tom Tibbs now that he doesn't have the veterans kind of blocking their way and eating up the minutes? So I'm for Tibbs. I do think how he performs this season will put them in that spot where they say, you know what, listen, do we listen to Clutch and get rid of him and put in Johnny Bryant? You know what I mean? I hear you in these streets. We hear
Yeah.
you in these streets.
Yeah.
But that's why you bring on a talented, staff.
Mhm.
because if one doesn't work out, maybe a new voice is needed. But yeah, this is kind of make or break for Tibbs. Um, he admitted. I think I heard Berman say it, where he said Tibbs reflected on it and said, "Man, I probably should have played the young kids more." You know,
Mhm.
so the key is going to be, will you show that you have the ability to adjust? When he first got here and we had that trash team,
Yeah.
with Alfred Payton, and we won all of those games. Very early in that season, we were putting up 3-pointers. I think we were killing it in terms of 3-point
Yeah.
shots. And a lot of people in the media were saying, I guess Tibbs can connect to young players. I guess he can change his style up. And we were winning because he made those adjustments. And towards the next season, once we got hit with injuries, he kind of reverted back to, I need my veterans. So yeah, this is a make or break season for Tibbs. You know,
I hope he proves me wrong. I hope we have a. I'm not gonna like set some expectations. I know some Knicks fans have like some crazy expectations, but I hope we come out of this season like we accomplished something or
Mhm.
we know what OB is. Like I want that feeling, like because that's just the worst case scenario. You draft someone eighth overall, you don't even know what he truly is. Like we know OB has talent, but we need to see more of a sample size from it. We got a Cavs fan in here. He said, "Yeah, Cavs. Shout out to the land." What's going on, man? He says, Danny says, I agree with your guest. Noah, he knows Knicks basketball. Well, make sure you subscribe to him.
Let's go.
Same as his username. Rose would have something to say about that. We'll see what happens with Tibbs in his first. So you're giving him a 20-game leash. Okay, okay. Well, we'll see what
See
happens.
that.
But Javier says, what seed will the Knicks finish this season? I don't have the seed. I'll be honest. I'm kidding.
What do
Um,
you say?
Gosh, the East is so stacked. Um, I think we're better than the Hornets. Miles Bridges isn't there anymore. I think we're better than the Wizards. I don't think we're better than the Bulls personally. Some people might attack me for that.
No, I don't think we are either.
I think 10th seed.
Listen. I can't argue that. I
But
think
you
it's
never know. If RJ pops off, maybe something happens. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, and we still have a month before the season starts. So I think putting this behind us, is one thing. Everybody's happy about that, but it might still be some time for something to happen. So we want to keep that in mind. But I think we're going to struggle to make the play-in. Um, but once again, it's the type of start you get out to.
Mm-hmm.
Type of start that you get out to. Shout outs to James Dolan. I'm going to be one of 1 million to say that, because
Oh.
he could have stepped in and pulled the Carmelo Anthony, and we would have gotten our star, but at what cost?
Mm-hmm.
So it's refreshing to see that you hired someone to do a job and you're letting them do the job.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how it should be, and it contributes to increasing the reputation of our team. Culture was big. Just restoring the luster of the Garden. Man, listen, once we get that in place, players will get to a point where young players will forget that we were so trash. And one day they'll come back and they'll start knowing we're well run, well managed, well coached, and that the young players thrive. That's where we want to be. We're climbing out of the dumpster right now. You know what I mean? So, but
Yeah,
next, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
we got to start winning consistently because I remember when the
Yeah.
whole Kevin Durant thing was going down. Because I'll never forget, I was one of these people that it's like, oh, one of the reasons why we're an attractive destination. Who doesn't want to play in Madison Square Garden? But then
Mhm.
thinking years later, because we suck. Like who wants to play for David Finkel? We just won 17 games. Who wants to go to that situation? So like it's just so cringe thinking back to that. But yeah, go ahead.
No, man, you hit it spot on. And as much as we want to be mad at KD, and I give KD a lot on my channel, he was right though. You know what I mean? At that point in time, him coming up and that generation coming up, it's just like the Knicks that he knows now isn't what we, you know, it isn't what we remember, you know.
Yeah.
So we got to get back to that. But Brooklyn is going to be nice too. If they get themselves together. Oh man, that just tasted bad when I said it.
Yeah,
But
but I feel like we said that when they got Kyrie and Kate. I just hope it doesn't work out.
I,
I
you
don't.
know,
They still got personalities in that locker room. But yeah,
yeah.
being obviously because I was like so excited. I was like, oh, KD's gonna be traded. Like, yeah, Kyrie will still be there, but we'll finally beat Brooklyn. We haven't beaten them in forever. But
Mhm.
I'll just always think like in the back of my head like KD could be off for like 3 quarters, but then he's just gonna like we just have no one that could match Kevin Durant's scoring or his
Mhm.
intensity. As much as I like RJ taking on assignments, like or Randall, like when he's competitive, he's a pretty good defender, or when he's
Mhm.
locked in. But when you have Kevin Durant, it's just ridiculous. It's hard to stop him or even keep him in check.
Yeah. It,
Um, oh
it's
yeah,
going to.
meet buzzer beater by the way. The biggest Carmelo Anthony hater. He hates Carmelo Anthony. He hates them. He literally said, "Release Carmelo Anthony hate shirts. I'll buy 10 of them." He hates Melo, bro. He does.
Look,
Oh,
I don't hate Melo, but I will forever hold him responsible for us giving away the whole squad that could have simply been put around him had he waited for the summertime. Man, we don't know what we could have been had that happened, you know?
yeah,
So I'm with you, bro. Shout
yeah.
out to you.
He's definitely not a Melo fan. Obviously, yeah, it looks bad now that one of those draft picks resulted in Jamal Murray with the Nuggets and all that.
Oh,
But that,
bro.
it's so many years down the road, though. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think. When we traded the first round pick for Bargnani, we got lucky. It only ended up being like Jakob Pertl or something like that.
Mhm.
Melo wanted to come to the Knicks with Donovan. Yeah, that was the only situation I saw Carmelo Anthony coming back here. If we got Mitchell, because then I was thinking that, or that's another negative though. If we got Mitchell, or depth might have been, ugh, like
Mhm.
bad, honestly. And then maybe we would have been in panic mode and got Melo. But one guy that I think is gonna be a sleeper. I don't think he'll outplay Mitchell Robinson, but I think he'll be good. I like the Isaiah Hartenstein signing. I think he's gonna be good for us.
Yep.
'Cause he brings I'm not gonna say he brings more than Mitch, because Mitch does his things very well, and they play differently, but he brings us another element, which I don't think we really have. I know some Knicks fans, though, that were frustrated, like, "Damn, those should have been Jericho Sims minutes," and all
Mhm.
that. How much stock did you put in the summer league, by the way, when you saw Sims put the ball on the floor, you saw Grimes' playmaking? It's awesome. I'm not taking any credit away, but
Mhm.
it's like people that were hating on Grimes when he was bad in that championship game, like only our fans would be pissed off that we lose a summer league, a freaking summer league. That show was so embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie, it was embarrassing. But
Yo, but we would have been flossing if we would have won, though. If we would have won that game, that would have been
oh my
phenomenal.
god,
But you know, you do put a little bit of stock in it because you have a chance to see what they've been working on.
yeah,
You almost see what the coaches have given them the green light to do.
hmm,
Like 2 summers back, it was Obi and it was IQ.
yeah,
And Tom Thibodeau was there, and he would be talking to them at the end of games, like, you know, you're not doing this, do a little bit more of this. And we found out ultimately that IQ and Obi were given the green light to just score. He
yeah,
wants to see what they bring to the table. And it almost seemed as if that happened this summer as well, where Grimes and McBride and Jericho, it was just like, hey, listen, you two are the actual players on the roster. Let's see what you got, you know. So you give some credence to that, but once
hmm,
again, you know, it's still young players who are trying to see where they stand against competition, you know.
yeah.
So
It's crazy how much, because I remember logging on to Knicks Twitter after that game. I shouldn't have. I haven't been on Twitter since the trade. I haven't. I'm not going on there. So when Grimes struggled the last championship game, people are acting like this is the end of the world, like Grimes is our number one option, or we drafted this dude top three. I'm like, you gotta understand, Grimes is being treated like he was Michael Jordan in the summer league. Because let's be
mhm.
real, like Grimes was too good for the summer league.
Yes, he
Like
was. Yep.
it didn't even look like he belonged out there. Or it looked like yeah he didn't belong. He was too good out there. Quickly was too good in the summer league. Um, Sims yeah he had some crazy dunks. He had some nice defensive plays, but there were still times I'm like defensively it looks like he's lost sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Grimes is being treated like a number one option. He's not gonna be playing as a number one option with the Knicks. You got to realize that as well. So yeah, it was pretty funny. Summer League was pretty fun though.
I think Grimes is going to surprise people though.
I think he's gonna be good. I
Yeah,
agree.
I don't think that's all smoke and mirrors. I think he's going to surprise people. He was I think Jerry West award winner in college,
Hmm.
and I think they spoke briefly with Jerry West about that, and he spoke highly of Grimes. And I'm a big listen. I made a video about how the Knicks can be somewhat similar to the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, you got a lot of hate for that, huh?
Look. But people had to vibe with me. It was almost a period of time where Golden State was about to trade Steph Curry, and they were about to trade Klay Thompson, and it was Jerry West with the organization at that time who stepped in and stopped them. So Jerry West is known, throughout the league for his eye for talent. And when he, spoke a couple of words about, Quentin Grimes, I'm like, you can't take that lightly. He showed an ability to put the ball on the floor. Obviously, he has a pure jump shot, and he gets after it on defense.
Mm-hmm.
And if nothing else, I think my concern that I had with Donovan coming over is not the height, but just the hunger and the desire to play defense. If we would have gotten Donovan and put him next to Brunson, there would have been a lot of responsibility placed on Mitchell Robinson and Hartenstein and Jericho. We would have really been rotating those three because you would have gotten past the point of attack at the point guard position, So that would have been something that Tibbs would have had to figure out in terms of schemes to make up for that defensive liability on the front end. Even though Elfrid Payton was terrible, and Reggie Bullock was
Well,
the
let's
hairstyle was
respect
killing
Bullock.
me.
Let's respect Bullock. Yeah, he didn't show up in the playoffs, and it hurt. I'm not gonna lie. He had a good game with. I know he had a game in the playoffs with the Mavs that he had 0, and then he had a game he had like over 20. Um, but if we're being real, we knew entering Bullock wasn't a guy who was gonna dribble, and he was a huge reason we were successful in the second half of the season.
He
Like
was, he
you
was, he
you you made
was,
up a good point when we shot the three ball very well the year we went to the playoffs in the second half of the season. Bullock was like lights out, like he
he
couldn't miss
was.
the three. But when he would be off, it would be awful because like you had like a line drive 3-point shot,
Bro.
no arc on that shit at all. So I would be so surprised with that one. I was like, bro, I would be so shocked. I'm like, where do these guys learn how to shoot the ball? My dad would tell me like put arc on it. He told me the beef technique and all that. And this man fucking like I never understood it at all.
I thought I was the only one who saw that. I would always
Yeah.
think, and Derrick Rose's shot used to be a line drive as well. In recent years, he put more arc on it. But I was about to say, although I was kind of, shitting on both of them,
Yeah.
they brought defense to that position, and they were disruptive, and they would put their, have their hands in passing lanes, and that was major for us because, once the point guard on the opposing team was kind of disoriented, by the time he got past that line, you had who's the center? What's his name? We just traded him.
Nerlens Noel?
You had Nerlens Noel
Yeah.
killing everything. So he was blocking everybody's shot. We had defense at the point guard position, and we had young players who had similar games to those players who were starting. And that's why we won so many games. So, I think Hartenstein brings offense to the second unit at the 5 position. But also defense. He got a nice little jumper, but he also plays defense.
He could pass too.
And he's a dog, bro. I was watching some of his highlights, and he gets after it.
Yeah, it's a good thing when Clippers fans came to my video and they're like, "Damn, we're pissed we lost this dude." That's always a good sign when they're
That's
pissed off that they lost them.
oh man, when the Brunson trade happened, I was crawling all in the chat boards, for
Yeah,
Dallas. They were killing us.
yeah,
But they were really like tied and connected to Brunson, man. I mean, they really like loved him as a player. So they visited my channel and was leaving some
hey,
some vile comments, but we love that. We welcome that as New York fans, New York Knicks fans. We welcome that. Bring the heat, bring the smoke.
yeah,
We
for
we
sure.
we take all that.
Let's see. Willie says Hardenstein is a great sign. See, this is the thing. Because when we first signed him, I had to watch more of him because I don't watch a lot of Clippers basketball, especially with their injuries. No Kawhi. I was like, I'm not going to watch much of the Clippers. I heard that all the time. He spreads the floor. I look at. He doesn't even attempt 1 3. It's more of a potential thing. I watched like every shot of his from three was like in garbage time, or it's like he only took them in like on like not great pressure or like non-pressure situations, I should say. But I hope he starts shooting threes over here. That would be nice. I'm not saying for him to attempt like amount like Porzingis did. Sometimes, like all respect to Porzingis, I'm not someone that really hates on him like that. Like he's not on the Mavericks anymore. Like we could stop having the conversation who won that trade. No one really won.
That's right. That's right.
Um, unless you want to go into the details, like oh, with the cap space, we signed Marcus Morris, then traded him, then we got quickly. Like
Nah,
stop.
no
Um,
need. I feel good about it.
Yeah, but there would be games because the one thing I had with Porzingis, he just wasn't good at posting up. Like he would have the
Mhm.
fadeaways, but he would shoot like friggin' near 10 threes per game, and it would kind of piss me off sometimes. But let's not talk about Porzingis.
Mhm.
So Elaine, I'm sorry for pronouncing your name wrong. I would rather trade Randall, start Obi, and sign Melo to a veterans minimum to back Obi up. I think Obi has a higher ceiling than Randall, and
Mhm.
Melo's still a bucket getter. So you think he could be like a multiple time All Star then? Because Randall was an All Star, even if it was just for 1 year. And I'll say this: Melo has matured. I feel like there was a point in time he wasn't really that mature,
Mhm.
and like stuff was coming out from Chauncey Billups that times in the
Yeah.
locker room, his head would be down
Yep.
when they would win a game, but he didn't have 30. But then when he would have 30 and they lost, like his head would be up or whatever. Um, but I think like Melo's even admitted his mistakes, and yeah, Obi, you want him to pass the ball. We know Melo's not much of that, but I think it'll be like a nice person for Obi to work with, honestly. But
Mhm.
can't you always do that in like private workouts though? Like I'm not bringing him in just for that personally, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I think she's right. You know what I mean? I think Melo has really humbled himself.
Mhm.
He's proven that he can still be a bucket getter in this NBA. But I'm also like, man, we have a lot that's going on, and it's kind of like we have our vision towards the future.
Mhm.
Um, but we did bring Rose back, and Rose left, and he didn't leave under the best conditions. It's almost like he mentioned it to us as well. He said he kind of quit because his mind was still in Chicago. And when we brought him back in the middle of the season that season, he really kind of went on an apology tour, with fans. He was just like, he wants to make it up. He don't feel as if he left the right way. And I think the same thing could be said about Carmelo. I think if he had an opportunity to come back, he shows he could be a mentor. He can still get buckets. I think it would be different, but me personally, I'm just kind of let's build something new. Let's kind of create something new.
I feel Melo's respected enough though. I feel like there's so many Knicks
Mm-hmm.
fans that love Carmelo Anthony. I feel like he's one of the first Knicks that are being brought up if you didn't see Patrick Ewing like me
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. But yeah, Willie Cruz says toddler hands no Noel.
Oh, hands of steel. Oh my
Or
god.
there would be edits of Nerlens Noel. His hands would be like ping pong paddles and all shit. Um, Willie Cruz says it's only year 3 of the official rebuild. I know as a Knicks fan, we've been rebuilding for more than 20 plus years, but this is official. I have faith in this front office. I understand where you're coming from. We have been rebuilding for a long time, but I feel like we haven't been building it right.
Right.
So have we really been? Karam just oh yeah, because he's a Thunder fan. Melo was there for like 2 seconds. I don't like Melo. Um,
Melo was like, P, they want me to come off the bench. I was just like,
oh,
oh,
oh
that's
yeah, I
not gonna
remember that.
last.
That was a disaster. Coley says, "Is there still unsigned players out there? Let's get somebody. Or is Melo all that's left? I hope Melo goes somewhere else." So I think DeMarcus Cousins still out there, but we don't need a
Mhm,
center right now. What do we have? Like 3 on the roster right now.
mhm.
Is Dennis Schroeder still out there? But not anyone. Yeah, there's not really anyone out there right now.
No.
Um, yeah, I don't think so. Because Montrezl Harrell would be someone we can get, but now isn't he like he's still going to jail for something, or he's being charged with the
That's right. That's right.
that
That's right.
marijuana thing? I know like the charges like went down; it's not as bad. And then Miles Bridges, we don't need to get into that. I believe Obi will be an all-star. He reminds me a little of Sean Marion and Amari Stoudemire. I've heard that a lot.
Hmm.
Um, One comparison I did not understand on draft night because I didn't see him in his prime at the New Jersey Nets. Of course, like me being a younger Knicks fan, I always see these players that were fantastic end up on the Knicks and they're like 20 years past their prime. Um, like people are comparing him to Kenny and Martin. Kenny and Martin played with more force, right, than like Obi. He played more
Mhm.
physical.
Yeah, I agree, and that's the perfect way of saying it. Kenyon Martin really played with like force, like he
Yeah.
really, and so did Amari. Amari would attack you,
Hmm.
and I'm hoping that that's just growth. You know what I mean? When you have a couple of years in the league, you've played against people at your position for a couple of years now, so you have a strategy. But that's the next step for Obi, just to play with force and just have confidence to know you're going to attack, either get fouled or make a highlight. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, we'll go live for a few more minutes. Shout out to you, man. Share for tuning in. I really do appreciate it.
appreciate you,
Um,
man.
yeah, no problem. Budget Beater says the only job for Mello in New York is as a janitor at 42nd Street. Oh my gosh. Disrespect.
Yo, we savages.
Anthony says, "Oh no, let's not start. Who are we looking at now? Are we looking at Westbrook? Oh,
Oh no, please.
oh my! Remember the whole Westbrook thing? Oh, that's funny because that could still happen. Because the Lakers is trying to trade him for anything. We'd probably just waive him right after or something. Um, what have y'all heard about our tampering punt? Oh yeah, what the hell happened with that?
That's crazy.
Wait, that's
It's,
wait, that's a good point. Nothing's come out. Like what
mhm,
draft picks were given up? It's probably just gonna be like second rounders and money or something.
man,
Um, yeah, that's a good point though. They're still, I guess, deciding on that. It's freaking
it's so crazy. Like it was a strategic move. You know,
yeah,
a lot of people want to claim tampering, but what prevents you from hiring a coach that you have a history of having on your coaching staff in the past? You know,
yeah,
I don't know, but yeah, that's so crazy. We haven't heard anything about it.
yeah. That's wild. The disrespect buzzer. Yeah, buzzer beater does not care. That's what I've learned about him on my channel. He's been a part of my channel since like I started it, and he just says whatever the hell he wants. Um, Still there, Sheer? Screen went black. Try exiting and going back in, maybe or something. He dropped. It was probably internet or like his phone died or something, or maybe just technical difficulties. But yeah, shout out to you, man, for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Why don't they trade Randall and Fournier for second round picks? Because the Knicks organization just values them more than that. Um, but that would just be funny if I could just see us still getting clowned for that. Oh, they traded Randall for a second round pick. They have a young roster already, and IQ, OB, Grimes, McBride. I'm trying to trade them too, but I don't know what the Knicks are going to settle for in a trade. At some point, you got to trade Randall. Um, McBride and Sims are how high are you guys on McBride? I'm not that high on McBride, honestly. When you're 6'1" and you can't create and beat guys off the dribble, like you got to be able to do that when you're a smaller guard. He plays hard defense, but besides that, I'm not that high on him. But McBride and Sims are here with Cam, Mitch, and RJ. Mitchell trade wasn't good. Did you? Are you upset about it? Ainge almost got fleeced. Rose and the Knicks, nah, I'm good. 4 first-round picks after the season with Brunson, Mitch, and RJ here for 4 years. It's all good, bro. It's all good. It's all good. That's why I thought it was. But yeah, thanks so much for coming on, man. Anytime. Whenever you want to come on, I'll bring you on for sure. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, possibly. We had to do that with Noel and Burks, I believe. But yeah, guys, I did promise myself in my mind that I'll go live for like an hour, 30 minutes. I appreciate everyone tuning in. You guys are amazing. Shout out to Sheer for coming on. Shout out to Willie. Shout out to Mel Bester. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Coley, my man. Buzzer Beater. Anthony Barker. Karam. Lane. CMGF. Just everyone that's tuning in, everyone that's watching afterwards. Thank you so much for being amazing supporters of the channel. This channel would not be possible without you guys. And yeah, make sure you sub up my man Sheer Brilliance. Make sure you sub him up. He's in the chat right now. Go type in his name on YouTube, or he could drop it, and subscribe to him. Knicks content creator, underrated content. Check him out. Great knowledge. And we're gonna end it on that. 50 wins, 45 minimum. I like that. Peace out, y'all. Stay safe. Have a great one. Wish me luck at work tomorrow.